What is going on, guys? This is Versatile Gaming with my review of Hamatora episode 12, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm not really sure how I felt about this episode. It was mainly because of that ending. It was kind of so plot twisting that I'm not really sure, how it made me feel. I'm not sure if right now I should be happy that Art is back, or if I just hate him and want him to die. So it kind of me wondering, so many things. Let me wondering so many questions that I can't help but not wait till like season 2 comes out, because it did say at the end to be continued, which means that at some point we are going to get a season 2. But the episode, it starts off where it picked off from last week, where we see Hajime, like showing off these like amazing powers, and so we have the one guy that actually attacked Takahiro, and we also saw him, kill this like random guard as well. And so he picks up what seemed like a broken sledgehammer piece, and we see that he can still get the power to heat it up. But when he goes to attack Hajime, she easily, blocks it with her hand. And not only that, she also counters it with a punch. But we see that, I'm guessing, when she gets too hungry, her power goes out of control, because she was repeating that she was hungry over and over. But right before she collapsed, we have Koniko, who I had no idea was even there. She appears now and catches her. And so then we go to Morale, who was in the street. He was talking to himself, saying that he was tired of keeping nice waiting. And so we see that he actually injects himself with something. And I'm guessing that it's the forbidden minimum. And so now we see this one random guy. He actually woke up in this karaoke bar. And we see that there was a sign that told him, to clap his hand in happiness. And when he does that, his fingernails get insanely long, kind of pulling off a lady, what's her name, Lady Deathstrike, I believe that's her name, from the X-Men universe, because his nails become so freaking long. And so now apparently, that right there was on the news, and we have this one reporter that actually told everybody where to go if they actually want to get a minimum, because we see now that this city, it is in chaos, because it's regular people versus minimum holders, and of course because they have powers, they are kind of winning. And so now we see that now we have all these people walking to this one area so that they could get a power, and that right there, was freaking incredible. And even the police that were trying to stop them, they were powerless, because these people were just easily able to push them aside like it was nothing. And so we have Morale assistant here. She was watching this on her computer, of course, and she was also looking at these random teenagers. I don't know how she could spy into their home, but we see that that she's made these kind of robots, where they actually get everybody attention because they should look so freaking weird. And we see that they have these weapons in their mouth, and when they open it, they shoot out these black pellets. I'm pretty sure they aren't bullets, but they really hurt. As we saw these little kids, which I felt so bad for, they got really hurt. So I did feel bad for them because of that. And so we see now that our partner, his name escaped me at the moment, but we see that he actually arrested this woman. And I was surprised that it took him so long to finally bust her, because you would think that would happen sooner. But I do wonder, how did he finally get his hands on her? Maybe Morale betrayed her or something, and and dropped the hint about where she might be. But we now have Morale, who's waiting on this boat for nights, because this is where they're gonna have their final confrontation. And so now we see that when they get there, Nice and Murasaki, they are greeted by these random minimum holders, and Murasaki is of course going to deal with them. And we see now that his powers have charged up and he can't use them again. So that right there was good. And of course now we go to Nice here, who is now confronting Morale. And so we see now that when they finally start fighting, this is the first time we ever seen Nice have any trouble, because he actually cannot even touch Morale at this point, because we see that the power of the forbidden minimum, it's actually teleportation, and it's actually faster, of course, than Nice, who just relies on speed. But we actually see now that the range of Morale's new power, it's actually kind of short. I believe we said it was a 10 meter radius, But at the same time, even though it does seem kind of short, it is very useful when it comes to somebody that's like a close range fighter like Nice. So every time that Nice uses power, Morale here was just like dodging it easily. And he also, counterattacked him as well. And we see that, this is the first time like I said, this is the first time we ever seen Nice struggle. And we see now that Morale here, he was doing this so that he could be on his level. And so of course of course later on we actually learn that Morale here, he actually has two powers. It is forbidden one, which is called the Type 0 minimum, and of course he still has the transformation minimum, which he didn't use at all because there was like no point to use it. So with this new forbidden power of his, he actually able to completely neutralize the power of Nice, because he just can't touch him no matter what he does. And he actually has the nerve to actually egg on Nice by bringing out Takehiro's death. And of course, this right here is not like Nice at all. And we see that this is the first time that he ever lost his cool, which is kind of why he was like losing in the first place. But we actually go back to our other characters here of Hamatora, and we see that they are dealing with these machines that are going around hurting people, because apparently this right here it was a part of showing people how powerless they are and make them one power so that they can defend themselves. But luckily, before anybody else could get really hurt, we have Honey, who actually uses her power to like locate them. She of course tells Raito and Birthday about where they are, and Birthday power, I definitely like it because he actually uses it in some pretty interesting ways. Because the first way he used it was to like short circuit the machines, and then we see when him and Raito were actually going to leave to go somewhere else, we actually see that that this strength guy that we saw in the first episode, he's not making his appearance, and he picked up the car and threw it. And so this right here, set Raito off, because apparently he had this car for like a 10 long year, or I believe that he had to go on a 10 long year to pay it off. And so now he was going to deal with this guy, while once again Birthday used the power to like hijack the motorcycle. He was going to use that to like drive around and go steal it. And so now we have Honey and Tree, and we see that they're also going around destroying these machines as well. And right when they took out one, we have all of these like kind of like less powerful minimum holders surround them. And so of course 3 here, he was definitely going to deal with them. And for some reason, I don't know why, I just really like that prayer that he says every time before he like uses his power. Like, to me, that right there is just like really freaking cool. And so of course they deal with them before moving on. And so now we actually see in Hamatora, Hajime here has awakened, and of course she's back in place, and we see that the guy that like runs the bar, he made breakfast for her, even though it was in the evening. And Koniko was saying that it's not morning till Hajime wakes up. So I don't know this like connection or this very strong bond between them. But for some reason, Koniko, she seems a little off to me in this episode. I'm not sure why. I just kind of got that vibe from her. But Hajime was like looking at the TV, and it was actually reporting on Morale and Nice, and Hajime here was actually worried about Nice. But we actually see that for like most of the battle, Nice here was losing. Oh, I also want to point out that whenever Morale, used that power of his, whenever time would stop and the rain stopped, like for some reason they decided to make the color of it be red like blood, and that right there sometimes did freak me out a little bit. But we see that Murasaki here, he actually gets involved, and he does try to attack Morale, and of course that doesn't work, and then Morale actually beats the hell out of him. And so of course, because of that, Murasaki here actually kind of brings Nice back down to earth, because he was saying that it's not like him to avenge somebody, and that's the one thing that he warned him out earlier. Don't do something that's not him. And I thought it might be kill Morale, but it's actually not to avenge somebody. And so earlier Morale here had actually brought up had brought up something, and it was like his plan where he asked Nice if he knew where the ship was going, and we see now that they're going to this tower, and in this tower we actually see that there's this guy, that being suspended into the air, and his name is Hibiki, and he's actually a minimum holder that Nice here had defeated a year ago. And apparently he had the power to like scream so loud that it can actually, kill somebody by destroying their brain. Or yeah, it can actually kill somebody by destroying their brain. But Morale here was saying that, his scream, it has been weakened. I'm not sure how it's been weakened, but apparently now the most it can do, it can like make somebody go deaf. But thanks to a partner, Morale said that when this ship arrived, this like mechanism, it will activate, which is going to stab him with like all of these knives, and that right there will like make him scream, of course, in pain. And so Morale said that everybody will get this call, and if they answer, they're going to hear Hibiki scream, and for them, hearing that, it'll make them go deaf or even worse. And we just see, what can happen if people do that, and it was a very bloody future. But luckily, once Murasaki had regained consciousness, and I was like really worried that that he might have been killed by Morale, because that would also could have possibly brought a knife down to earth. But we see Murasaki actually take over the boat, and apparently he gonna steer it away from the tower. But we see that Nice here, he was in a bit of a pickle. And of course, he was like snapping his fingers as if he was like using powers, but because he didn't have headphones on, it wouldn't activate. But we see that all the people like Theo, Ray, basically anybody in Hamatora that we've seen so far interact with our main cast, they were like contacting Nice, and they were trying to reach out to him. So his phone was buzzing nonstop, and I thought they were going to be rather touching, but it turned out to be the exact opposite. As he took his phone and threw it out to the sea, and he got so angry, and that right there definitely made me laugh a lot, because it took a possibly touching scene to make it a comedy, and that right there, it's not a bad thing. But we see now where Ray and Theo is. Someone had actually taken a boat, and they're now heading to the ship that Nice and Morale are on. And so of course we don't see who it is, because it's like a shadow figure, but of course we do learn at the end about who it is. And so now we see Nice here, who actually is ready to fight, and we see that when he does use his power, Morale does teleport to dodge, but Nice here uses power again to actually get around that. So now we see them going back and forth, teleporting and moving, till one point Nice here is actually able, to attack Morale. Now at one point we did see somebody heart, and I thought it was Nice heart, but apparently that wasn't the case. As when Nice hit Morale, he actually hit him so hard that he went flying through the ship, and he actually crashed through it. And so now we see them in kind of like some dining room, I believe. And when Morale actually stands up, because he was saying now that Nice had reached a new level, he also has to reach it. We see that he starts coughing up a lot of blood, and because of that, we hear that two bodies that has, a body that has two minimums cannot withstand it. So it's kind of like One Piece, where a user will have two double fruits. Like at first it couldn't exist, till Blackbeard came into the picture, but apparently in Hamatora, from a Morale standpoint, that really is not the case. His body cannot handle it, so it's actually destroying him. And so we see Art here, who I still don't know how the heck is he alive, because that right there, will not explain. Even though I knew that he was going to come back, I thought Morale here might have injected Art with the forbidden minimum and made him and Nice fight. But we see that Art here just shot Morale, which killed him, and we have Nice here who asked him if that right there was like really necessary. And so we have Art who actually walks up to him and points the guns to his head, and he apologizes for like being late. And then the screen goes black, and definitely hear another gunshot. Now, because Art did not have on, his headphones, and because that gun, was so close to his head, I'm not sure how in the world could he dodge that. But if they kill off Knife for some reason, which I find very stupid because he's the main character, I do wonder what the heck is going on right here, because Art comes back which we still don't know how or why he came back, and now he's apparently evil because he killed Morale, which I believe he had every right to do, but then he turned his gun to Knife, which is his friend. So I don't know what's going on, but apparently we are getting a season 2. That right there was confirmed by this saying to be continued. So I don't know when season 2 will start, but I do know that we are going to get it. But Hamatora was definitely an interesting series, and I am glad that I did review it, because overall the characters, I did get attached to them, which is why I feel so conflicted right now when it comes to Art. But overall, the series, it was really good. I might review season 2. I'm not really sure. It depends on how the first episode goes. Because let's say that like Nice is dead, that right there is gonna piss me off. So I really might not review season 2 if it starts that way. But we'll see, because this series this series let me with like so many questions that I might not have a choice but to review it. But as always, please do not forget to like the video and subscribe. I would love to hear what you guys thought about the episode as well, because I'm really curious about this. Did you guys also, find the series kind of like a mindfuck at the end? Because I really did as well. But as always, you guys take it easy, and I'll see you all next time.